Hello and welcome to this presentation delivered on behalf of the National Apprenticeship Service. My name is Matt and I'm going to take you through a very quick introduction to apprenticeships, traineeships and T-levels. So let's start with apprenticeships. What is an apprenticeship? Well, it's a job with training. So an apprentice is employed, they go to work, they do a real job, and by doing that job, they gain work experience. But the apprentice is also going to continue studying and working towards certification and qualifications exactly the same as you're doing at school. So therefore, at the end of an apprenticeship, you have work experience, but you also have an underpinning qualification as well. So an apprentice is employed by a real business and they get a contract to employment, same as all the other members of staff. But unlike all the other members of staff, you're going to have 20% of your working week set aside for you to continue that studying and continue that learning. Now, apprentices, of course, are paid a salary for the job that they're doing, and they're paid for 100% of the time they work at their work. So the employer actually pays for the 20% of your week when you're studying and learning. Apprenticeships must last a minimum of 1 year, and some of the degree apprenticeships can go up to 6 years in length as well. You may be surprised to learn that there are over 650 different types of apprenticeships available across England. In Greater Manchester, in the wider Northwest, around 400 of those are available. Apprenticeships also range in different levels as well, going from equivalent to GCSE up to master's degree level apprenticeships. And what that means is there's an entry point for everybody, whether you'd like to go into an apprenticeship at the end of year 11 or after college or later on in life. But it also means you can progress up those levels as well. So you could start on an intermediate apprenticeship and eventually progress up to a degree level apprenticeship. The important thing to remember, though, with apprenticeships is they're not an easy option. You are working almost full time, 80% of your time, and you are studying for 20% of the time. So you are juggling a real job with real responsibilities and continued study. These logos just represent a small proportion of some of the very large employers who recruit from schools and from colleges across Greater Manchester and the wider Northwest. You'll recognise some of these logos. Some of these businesses aren't too far away. AstraZeneca, for example, Siemens. So how do you go about finding an apprenticeship? Well, if you're in year 11 or year 13 and you're thinking about apprenticeship as next step, now is certainly the time you should be looking for opportunities. And the best place to do that is a government website called Find an Apprenticeship. You can register on there. You can use the search function to find the type of apprenticeship you're looking for. You can also apply through that website as well. Traineeships then. Traineeships are like a pre-apprenticeship. So if you're not quite ready for an apprenticeship and feel like you need a little bit of extra support after leaving school, this is available for you and is available between the ages of 16 to 24. And it's got 3 key components. It's got some English and maths and IT skills for those who haven't achieved grade 4 in English and maths at school. It's got some classroom time spent working on employability skills, for example, building CVs, interview practice, completing applications. And crucially, there's a work experience element in it as well, where you'll go to a real workplace and do a real job in preparation for you to move on to an apprenticeship. Now, I must add at this point, the work experience placement on a traineeship is unpaid, although all your expenses are covered. Now, your traineeship will last anything between 6 weeks and 12 months, and the training providers who deliver those design them around you. So if it's only going to take you 2 months to be ready for an apprenticeship, it will be a 2-month program. If it's going to take you 6 months to be ready for an apprenticeship, it will be a 6-month program. T-levels then are the new opportunity on the block. They are for year 11 leavers looking to go into college to do a vocational qualification. So they're slightly different from the existing BTECs. They're more on a par with A-levels in terms of how challenging they are. But they're an alternative to A-level. They're a technical alternative to A-level, hence the T-level phrase. And it's the opposite of an apprenticeship. You work 80% of the time, you study 80% of the time, and you work 20% of the time. Now, again, this is an unpaid industry placement, but you will do 45 days across your 2-year T-level program. T-levels have been designed by employers as well, so that they're fit for purpose for you to go straight into employment. And at the end of your T-level, you have the opportunity to go off to university. All three universities in Greater Manchester will accept T-level leavers onto degree programs, or you could go into higher or degree apprenticeships. And finally, just a little comparison table that highlights some of the main differences between apprenticeships, traineeships and T-levels. If you'd like any further information, I would always recommend looking at the amazing Apprenticeships website, where there's a huge range of resources available. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.